Barry, Season 3, Episode 4, titled All the Sauces. Before I get into this video, it's going to be full of spoilers, so if you haven't watched the episode, go watch it and then come back and watch this. This episode had a lot of events that were very climactic, that the first 3 episodes were building up to. Barry Season 1 is one of my favorite seasons of a TV show ever. Season 2 is really, really good and really, really solid. I'm really enjoying Season 3 so far, though, and I feel like I say this every single week, but it's so different. The vibes of this episode, everything that's going on is so different. And part of me misses the Barry that we used to have, them going to acting class, the dynamics between all the characters. But I'm really, really getting engaged in the plot line that's happening now. And it feels like a final season. Like, I don't know if this is supposed to be the final season of Barry. I hope not. But this season so far is just giving me mega, mega final season vibes. Sally breaks up with Barry. Barry gives Gene Cousineau a shit ton of money, and Gene decides to stay in LA. And I'm very, very curious where their dynamic is going to go moving forward. Is Gene out of the show? Maybe. Like, I could see that happening. Like, I could see this being his ending in a sense, that he just has money now for his family, for his son, for his grandson. He's sort of rekindled with them. I can picture Gene Cousineau not being in the show any longer. I hope that's not the case. He's one of my favorite characters. I just don't know what his arc is going to be moving forward. And same with Barry. I'm so confused. Like, he doesn't have Sally anymore. He's not really indebted to Gene anymore. The one plot line that is still a giant question mark in my brain is Fuchs and what Fuchs is doing. The very first scene of this episode is something that I liked a lot. It was the very first scene of the very first episode of Barry back in season 1, where the dude is dead in the bed and Barry walks out of the bathroom and he's like taking the silencer off his gun or whatever. The very first scene of Barry, we see it again, and Gene Cousineau goes to that guy's wife's house and his son's house and says that he knows who killed their father. And then he goes to Ryan's dad. You remember Ryan Madison from season 1? Fuchs goes to his dad's house, or his dad's place of work, and tells him pretty much the same thing. And I have a feeling that the first half of this season is now over. A lot of stuff is sort of wrapped up. And then I have a feeling the second half of this season is going to be essentially Fuchs versus Barry. Another thing that really stuck out to me about this episode is there is not much humor this season at all. Like, one of the strongest aspects, one of the strongest things about Barry as a TV show is how beautifully and how perfectly and how flawlessly it combines humor and drama mixed with, like, you know, the occasional action thrilling scene. I loved it in the first 2 seasons, but this 3rd season has barely any humor. It's very dramatic. It's taking itself very, very seriously, but don't get me wrong, there are some bits of humor sprinkled throughout, mostly thanks to NoHo Hank. Also in this episode, Barry blows up the house, and Cristobal was in it. He wasn't supposed to be, but Barry does end up bringing him back to NoHo Hank, and they get to be together. And I want to go back to the thing I said about the humor. I don't think that's a flaw, because again, this season is very dramatic. It feels very climactic, not just towards what's been happening recently, but the show overall. It feels like everything that's happened in the show has led up to this moment. And again, I'm getting mega final season vibes from it. Again, I don't know if this is supposed to be the final season. Let me know if it is. Part of me wishes it's not, and part of me hopes it's not, but part of me also hopes that, much like shows like Breaking Bad, that Barry ends at the logical closure point. It ends when they know the narrative is over and they don't drag it on just for the sake of dragging it on. And I mentioned there wasn't much humor this season, and I still stand by that, but the humor that is there hits, and it hits hard. There's a whole segment in this episode about Barry detonating a bomb through like this app for people who want to detonate bombs, and it's not working properly, so he calls the support hotline, and it's just absolutely hilarious. Anyway, that's my quick thoughts on Barry Season 3, Episode 4, titled All the Sauces. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Are you liking the season of Barry, or are you not? Do you even watch Barry? If you're not watching Barry and you've watched this far, thank you. But also go watch Barry. It's one of the best shows on TV right now. And if you like this video, you should subscribe to my channel. I do TV show discussions, movie discussions, trailer reactions, that sort of thing. Hope you join.